Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 253 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as well as we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my co hosts, who are wondering, should we have connected?
My name's Craig. I got nothing for that.
Yeah, my name's also Craig. You got us on that one.
I had to bring out the Death Stranding 2 tagline.
Fair.
As this week, we get into the news and a little bit of Death Stranding, maybe. We'll see. Luckily, news is down to a very comfortable, reasonable amount this week. It's not me having to do all of the game reveals and everything like that, so it's a much more calmer one. We start off with Marathon being delayed from its release date in September here. There's been a lot of marketing and articles and stuff going back about upper management at Bungie kind of taking control of this game, not really being what they want it to be kind of deal. And because of that, I think all the bad press, we're getting a delay, which I thought the game looked all right. Like I was going to go into it skeptically, but okay, just delay it and hopefully it's a better product. Works for me too.
Yeah, didn't they list like a lot of stuff that they were going to attack based off of gamer feedback as well? It looked like when you put something back in the oven and it's like 5 more minutes, and then you put something back in the oven and it's 35 more minutes. This looks like the game version of the 35-minute. Based on the laundry list that they had, it looks like it needs like some time, like a year or so. But I'd rather they get it right.
Yeah, I was not super hyped on this game anyway, but I mean, yeah, I think it does need some work. So take the time and make it not look so bland. Is that right?
Maybe put some time into first person or single player adventures like you're good at,
Maybe.
Sony.
Yeah,
maybe just continue throwing some money in.
To be fair, like
there.
Destiny isn't much of a story game. It's
True.
gunplay is what you play it for. So
yes.
Right.
if anything, as long as it's fun to play, I think that's all people really care about.
Yeah.
If you're playing Destiny for the story, you've read more books than I think most people do in a year.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts and Metal Lore.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
Close.
Well,
not quite.
It's just that it's all. If you've gotten into Kingdom Hearts lore, you've watched like a decent amount of movies in a year.
Yep.
With Destiny, it's all in like grimoires,
Yep.
things like that. So
Right.
It's not PlayStation with just the bad news this week. We have bad news from Xbox and Nintendo. Xbox first is going to have major layoffs. It's been done multiple times this year. They kind of deal it to a restructuring, quote unquote, where it's led to believe, and it's kind of been hinted at, that Xbox is trying to pry away from some markets that they tried to heavily invest in. So maybe that investment just never panned out. But to me, this doesn't come as a surprise. You've now released Xbox as a service portably.
Yep.
And you raised all the prices on your hardware. So your hardware development team probably can be scaled down significantly. And everyone's kind of going into the software portion of things about how this is an Xbox. You've also just released an Xbox that's related to the Meta Quest 3S, the Xbox edition, where now the service is available right on your VR set. So keep that in mind. But anything you guys have about that?
What's your guys' thoughts on? There's differing opinions. One, I don't know how I feel, but do you think Microsoft has another console, or are they done?
I think they
do.
Console.
Okay. I think they do.
And then two, I was also reading this past week that there's people saying, they're speculating, obviously, that hey man, get ready, the next console is going to be $1,000. Like PC prices. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think they're thinking that AMD partnership and
Yep.
And how Xbox is saying that this is an Xbox, this is an Xbox. So like maybe the next step is essentially just a
I'm an Xbox, you're an Xbox.
It's true.
right.
We all are.
I will be playing the next Xbox game in the new generation off of myself. Like I'll just be like I have my own
Yeah.
controller. I don't know, but to your point or to your question, Craig, I think it's going to be something interestingly elevated
Yeah.
to that and inflated to that type of price. Yeah, but
I think
go
out
ahead.
of everybody here, right? Like I'm the most invested in the Xbox ecosystem, but even myself, I'm like very strongly asking myself, like, do I even buy the next Xbox console, or do I just pass and then just
Yeah,
do
at
PC?
$1,000, that's a new GPU. A
Right,
good GPU is 800, $900.
right. Or do I just get, like, do you stick with your, if you're having a gaming PC, do you stick with that and pay for PC Game Pass because you can play everything, or do you just stream, or do you get the handheld? I don't know. Like, depending on the price, I don't really see a need to buy another Xbox unless it's just something crazy when they announce it. I would think most people would be like, I'll just get the next PlayStation and then I'll just get Game Pass and stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Craig, I'm with you on that. Like
Mhm.
and correct me if I'm wrong, if either of you two, because we always talk at least once every couple of weeks about how Game Pass has been popping.
Yeah.
Um, I can't think of a game that I needed the console for. I can think of a game that I needed the computer for
Yeah.
that I wanted to play. So, to your point, do we really need to buy another console? Uh,
I mean, not everybody has a gaming PC, but if
that's
they're going to
true.
charge $1,000, that nobody's going to buy that. But if you can still get a Xbox console for 400 or $500, and you don't have the money to spend $1,000 to $1,500 on a gaming PC, then yeah, you get an Xbox and Game Pass. Because the streaming is, let's be honest, the streaming on Game Pass is
Yeah,
eh.
at most.
Yeah, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'd much rather download it to my console or my PC and play. That's just how I like to do it. But yeah, I don't know.
Then we get to the Nintendo bad news. One related to Nintendo, one is Nintendo. If you are using the MIG cartridges, don't connect to the internet because your system's gonna get banned. Uh, this kind of developed on Reddit. MIG cartridges, if you don't know what they are, is you can essentially put a bunch of your game files onto one cartridge, and then you can select the game you want to play off of one cartridge. So the example is, let's say I've got Pokemon Breath of the Wild and Kirby. Instead of having to switch out the cartridges, I can just put in the MIG and select one of the three games there. Now, you're supposed to do it with only software you own.
Right.
And I think the big thing here and why Nintendo is cracking down is that it's you could probably download the software off of pirating sites
Mhm.
and be able to play it without having to pay a dime there. What you run into there, and this reminds me of the banned Xbox days and a
Yep.
personal story I have where I bought 4 different Xbox 360s from GameStop. 3 of them were banned consoles that I could not get online with, and it's like, what's the point here? And you're running into that that's what you're going to run into with this MIG stuff, because you can system reset the console afterward, and and they still won't allow you to connect it even after a whole system reboot. So it's just one of those things that, like, it sucks for people who may be trying to save a couple bucks and get a Switch 2 cheap, pre-owned,
Yep.
but you can't do that. Not allowed. So,
Got to be very careful buying pre-owned right now.
Yeah.
well, it's just one of those things where Nintendo needs to, okay, if you want to punish people for getting and doing that to their Switch, make it so they can't system reset it.
Mhm.
Right.
That way, one, they have to, and I don't like to relish in people's misfortune,
You
but
don't?
no.
Nah, you
But
don't. You don't.
But what you run into is they're getting their money back for a Switch, and yes, no matter what, people are getting their money back for Switch, because if you buy a banned console, you're just going to go back and be, hey, it's banned, I got to return it. But it's more like, it makes it very, very difficult, and it just makes it a big pain in the ass for everyone.
Yep.
So that sucks.
It does.
And D-Brand released the Kill Switch 2. It is a case, kind of thing for your new Switch. It comes with rubber grips. It's supposed to make it very comfortable. I
Mhm.
was about this close to buying it until
Mm.
a bunch of videos came out with a bunch of defects where the case that goes around it is not allowing your Joy-Con to actually magnetically stick. They're falling out very easily, which is causing damage to consoles because people are picking it up from your Joy-Con with one hand, and then the whole thing kind of falls to the ground, and you're probably like having a heart attack as your $500 new console is there. Uh, the worst part of this is D-Brand has released statements going, "Hey, it's because you're not picking it up right." Like it's one of those things where it's like, man, I really hope like the people that get the D-Brand case, I really hope that theirs is fine and they don't have issues. But this is probably the biggest like thing that D-Brand has released in a while, and it was coming to great success. There are tons of people buying it, and this defect, if you don't honor, returning it and fixing the defect or anything like that, they could be in for trouble. So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Don't you just
I
love when
was this close
somebody?
to buying it. I was really this close.
Don't you love when in a release statement where they go after the gamer? Like, just I love.
Yep.
It's just you're not picking it up right.
I don't think I've ever put. I never put my old Switch in any type of case. I don't think.
I just
I
have it for a
just
carrying case, yeah.
yeah. I don't know. Something about handhelds. I don't like putting extra like things on top of it. I
I
just don't.
did and this is because Craig gave me it. I like the Satisfy grip. Like I did like
Mm.
that. Those things were nice. I just find that the Switch 2 is large enough where
Yeah.
everything pretty much fits in my hands pretty comfortably now. Where the Switch 1 was small enough where it can be a little cramped. So Switch 2
Right.
kind of solved that. But
Yeah, they did.
that is a lot for a lot of people. A lot of people bought this case. A
Yeah.
Right.
lot of people bought this. So I'm
There weren't too many
interested to see-
options out there.
There
Yeah.
weren't.
Case-wise.
No.
Interested to see what D-Brand decides to do. And we then have also Nintendo Drag X Drive, which is the wheelchair basketball game, is coming out in August,
Hmm.
as they have announced. We also got a Splatoon trailer where we are getting stuff for Splatoon 3, updates with new maps, but it seems like we're also getting a single player
Yeah.
story DLC that is for Switch 2 exclusively. So if you're a Splatoon fan, keep it up. I loved the last DLC, the roguelike one. Order Up, I think is what it was called.
Yeah.
I loved that. So if it can be just as fun, that's all I care about. I'll play Splatoon 2 again, or 3 at this point. So
Yeah. It's also like while we're here, we should be telling people to download that Nintendo News app because that's where they released it initially. Like the announcement was on the app. So in these trying times where we're trying to find new Switch or new Nintendo information regarding Switch 2 or any announcements, I think they're utilizing their app a little bit more than I thought they would. Like
same here. Yeah.
that's crazy. Most people don't just release it on an app. There's some nice event that you're told the night before so you can get up early or stay up late to watch. So
Yeah.
interesting.
And the Bananza Direct.
Yeah.
Mm.
One, I'll say right now, I'm very excited for Bananza.
Yes.
Bonanza,
Yeah.
I think, looks really good.
It looks good.
The one thing, and it's the issue of showing too much. I would have loved to find out, like while playing the game, that The Rock was Pauline. Like
Yes.
that would have been a top 10 gaming moment of the year. Like I guarantee that. But because I watched it and because they showed it in that direct, because when I saw it, I was like, "Oh, what? The Rock's a very young It's weird saying The Rock is a young Pauline.
The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock is
So-
a very young Paulie.
So it's just one of those things where I am very much excited for what Bonanza. It looks weird. It has anime flavor to it as well.
Mhm.
Certain
Partial.
posts you can definitely tell are like One Piece, Luffy inspired, and it just looks like it's a fun, creative sandbox game. where it's got a mix of Mario Odyssey, and I also got a lot of Zelda out of that
Yep.
too. So it looks like they're really trying to hopefully bring in both aspects of Zelda and Mario and like mash them to be the best thing for Donkey Kong.
Yeah. It's got a little rhythm game in there with that. That was what I was excited for. I know out of the three of us, I'm not the one who jumps at the rhythm game most, but I thought that was an interesting mechanic. And you're right, Barry. That could have been a bombshell drop for everybody who booted it up on the 17th or whenever they were getting it in July. And wow, I didn't even think of that when they revealed it. That's not where my mind went. But now it's kind of like, oh, just let me find that out.
Well, yeah,
Do you think?
it's like
Go
with
ahead.
Zelda and Tears of the Kingdom. Like the first time you go down into the depths,
Yeah, you were
you're
like,
like,
what the hell
"What
is
is
this?
this?"
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Craig.
Oh, man.
No, do you think that's because just like you said, like I went from like cautiously excited to being like very excited about this game. Do you think they were feeling that people weren't as excited and that's why they felt like they had to drop all this stuff?
Maybe, but like, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I guess that's probably how they felt because I can speak for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was gonna get Donkey Kong Bonanza no matter what. Like
Yeah.
that's gonna be the thing. So I guess you're trying to reel in the people that are not into Donkey Kong and not
Yeah.
into the regular stuff. You're trying
Yeah.
to reel in the person who just bought it for their kid and is wondering what Nintendo games they'd want to play, and you're like Donkey Kong. I have no idea who that is, kind of
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, maybe they're not a stone cold Mario Kart where they're playing it for the next month. They did a couple of laps. You're trying to hit that demographic of that person where they're like, what's on the horizon? And they didn't have games to show on the horizon at that time. So I know a lot of us saw that and was like, oh, just Bonanza. Come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
so, I was really excited after seeing that.
Yeah.
And you got to think that's the second game. It needs to make a splash.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a Breath of the Wild kind of splash that they
Oh,
could
they
make.
do. You can play it again.
yeah, they do. They do.
Like you've been playing Tears of the Kingdom. I've seen you on there. You are into Tears of the Kingdom again.
I played about 25 hours of Tears of the Kingdom, and I'm ashamed because I know the plot. But it was a free upgrade for expansion, so I was like, let me try it. And that's what I found myself doing. If I know we're still in news, but that's what I found myself doing with the Switch 2 was just playing it. I've been playing games again until something comes out, just to kind of see what it's like with the new hardware. So
Yep.
Yeah, like last news story for me is we did get more about Dragon Age: The Veilguard and its development, where a lot of people did not like Veilguard. We did like Veilguard, and like looking back at
Game
it,
of the year.
like looking back at it, it probably should have been Final Fantasy VII, like Rebirth. I take everything back. We were trying to be different. We didn't need to be different.
We were.
We forced it. So I just so that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth can put it on their box.
Yes.
It's our game of the year. High sets it like I gotta strip it away from Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Looking back at Dragon Age: The Veilguard, I think I was more enamored because it was the latest thing I played that was really like it was good. It was a really good game still, and I liked it. But Craig, you can have your victory lap with Rebirth. You were right. We were wrong. I agree with you. But back to the news story. This game apparently went through so many changes that it was originally developed as a co-op live service game. So, seeing as how combat was like and how you had the two party members, I could absolutely see where they were trying to. But this game went from co-op to live service, back to co-op, then they tried to move it to single player. And then in the end, a lot of people tell you like they didn't like the game. We did. I think there's a lot of good aspects of Dragon Age, and I think it does a spectacular story, to be honest. But it sucks because like that may be the last Dragon Age we get.
Yeah.
You talk about a world with some intriguing lore, fun combat. At least I thought fun combat, and just interesting characters with like fun side quests, like Mass Effect style stuff in a medieval time. I love that. I guess now you can just play Kingdom Come Deliverance too. I guess it's probably what you'd be playing instead. But it was the perfect mix of like fantasy and medieval and getting involved in a world that is pretty cool. And Dragon Age the Veilguard, gets hurt because EA decides this is what it's got to be. Wait, it doesn't have to be that, but it does. No, don't do that. Make it something else. It's the decision of corporate overlords from EA that make me worry about college football and Madden.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Fair.
Speaking of that, Barry, before we go on to Craig's news, Craig and I came to a revelation together. We are going to
Yep.
definitely purchase College 26, but take a watchful eye on when we purchase Madden, is what
Yep.
we've decided.
Buy it when it's on sale.
Buy when it's on sale. College, most definitely. Day one.
When it's $40 on Black Friday kind
Yep.
of deal. Like,
Right.
They did release the trailers and gameplay deep dives for both Madden and college football. The thing is this year, the NFL rights expire for
Yes.
EA. So if EA cannot produce a good Madden game this year, I bet you they're gonna open it up to 2K, and we're now going to get hopefully some competition in the sports gaming sphere, because
Be nice.
I believe, I truly believe, like, that is what kind of sucks about the sports gaming stuff that in the last couple of years, the last really 2 decades, is that they aren't given time to develop because it's a yearly cycle and it's a cash grab every single time. So if you create competition,
but we're talking about 2K, the king of the cash grab.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
So we would have the city, just like an NBA 2K for Madden, or not Madden, but NFL 2K, right?
How interesting would that be?
I mean, they already did it with WWE. They did the island.
You're right.
They did the same thing. They would just regurgitate it again. No, I'm all for them making one though, because it would cause competition. Gameplay wise, it would be better because NBA plays phenomenally well. So I think they could do a good football.
I mean, competition is healthy for better results.
Yeah, true.
But that's all I got.
Cool. I just have 2 other ones. You got most of the ones I had. We had to talk about the Switch theft. 3,000 Switch consoles were stolen from a truck headed to GameStop's. 1.4 million. That's a lot of Switches. And what are you going to do with them? Because I would imagine they have the serial numbers, right? So they can track them.
Yeah,
it's not like you can just sell them. I mean, you can, but I feel like they're going to get caught. I don't know what you do with them. What do you do with 3,000 Switches?
I don't know, because you sell them, like you said, the serial numbers. PlayStation would have those PlayStation. Nintendo would have those serial numbers. You could get the information that you need when they're turned on by the purchaser by reaching out, and then you could brick them immediately after, or...
I don't think they'd go as far to brick them. Maybe they would. I don't know. Just because bricking them, like that, when you unless Nintendo can unbrick it, then that's loss. Like that's that's a $500 that's a $500 loss on their page. So unless it can be unbricked, I think they're just probably trying to figure out who stole it. I imagine GameStop is also doing that. GameStop is weird, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a mess.
They're invested in crypto now. GameStop has done this really strange, we've liquidated all of our stuff and now we're crypto. And also we do trading cards, which, to be fair, they do a pretty good job of trading cards. I'll give that to them.
That's true.
I won't buy it though.
And then the last thing I had, which this is more movie news, but gives me a little bit of hope. We talked before about Alex Garland is going to be doing the Elden Ring movie for A24. That man is on his 7th playthrough of Elden Ring right now. So that man is at least putting in the work to understand the game, which gives me a little bit more hope in that movie. I know we talked before, like, how do you make an Elden Ring game? I don't know, but I think somebody who's played through it 7 times or 6 going on 7 probably has a pretty good idea. I would hope. So that's, more than most people do for video game movies. Usually they're like, oh, I didn't even play the game. I just got told the characters' names and made a movie based off of it.
Yeah, that's dedication because you
Mhm.
got to think a lot of players did like a standard dedicated player to Elden Ring played it once, probably
Yep.
played it again after it, maybe put it down when something new came out, played it again when the DLC came out, maybe
Yeah.
restarted because I mean that's what I did. So like on average like 3 or 4 times. Streamers probably three, 4 times, maybe a fifth run, but like 7, that's
It's a lot.
you like that game.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
you definitely like that game. So
Yeah, that was the only other ones I had.
I only have a couple additional because we went over the ones that I had, or a lot of the news that I had. But I had kind of an interesting story, and since we played, all three of us did play Claire Obscure, I thought that this would be interesting. They interviewed Charlie Cox, who was the voice of Gustav. And Charlie Cox had a very interesting to say in his interview where he felt like a total fraud because of the success of the game versus how little time he spent doing the voice acting for it. I found that very humbling for that because I mean we like Charlie Cox before Claire Obscure, Daredevil, and oh my god, I can't think of it. Boardwalk Empire for me, he was
Mhm.
amazing in as well, and he's not a gamer. So, he gets called, his agent gives him a call and, probably says you should audition for this or, something along those lines. He auditions, he says, "Oh great, I got the part." He spends some time in the voice in the booth. And then here we have this monumental game that has made definitely a mark on 2025 and he's kind of sitting back and I feel kind of bad for him because he's just like I feel like a fraud because I really didn't put a lot of work in there. Now, you and I heard the three of us heard his voice. I think he put effort into the role. Like Gustav sounds.
He's got Daredevil. Come on,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
fine. He's
Yep.
doing he's probably just happy to be a part of something that's cool, like how this is, and
right,
how it's blown up the way it has.
right. I don't think he should feel bad. He did what was asked of him.
Yeah. Agreed.
And I'm like, for those who haven't played, I'm trying not to spoil anything. So I was trying to read that
Oh, it doesn't
specifically.
matter.
Right. Um, and then, oh yeah, we already did spoil it. Never mind. Like, didn't we do? Yeah. Anyway, the other thing that I have, this is small, and then I have a very small rant after. Not related to this, but Game Informer has officially released their latest issue since coming back under new ownership. Borderlands 4 is going to be the cover story, which makes sense based on the hype around that game. Really nice. I know that we try to cover anything happening to Game Informer when we see it, and I got the email that they were releasing it and you can view it, and anybody who's signed back up or subscribed back up will get a printed issue. So I think I'm also going to take this opportunity to say, like, let's support uh, timeless journalism in terms of video games. So if you have the extra, money and you want a good publisher, they're doing that right now, or at least go check out the site. So
Yeah.
that was really nice to see. My small rant, I don't know if I can call it a rant yet. I think sometimes you should wait till after a rant is done to call it a rant. But I can't mention it in games played, but I did pre-order the collector's edition for Death Stranding 2, and I would
Yeah.
like to show you all what I had from this collector's edition. It did not come with much, which is going to be part of my rant. But I got this guy. He's apparently a major
Okay.
character in the story, a ventriloquist type dummy.
That was supposed to be the dummy that was voiced by Timothy Chalamet. That has now been
Yes.
recast as someone else.
Okay.
Just
That's
as a
good.
fun fact.
Yep.
No, that's good. That's good lore. I guess I'll do the statue next. So this is Magellan Man that came. Definitely the majority of the packaging and the weight of the box. He's got an interesting look to him. His head is very Metal Gear esque, but he has kind of like a Venom body or like a
Yeah,
BT body from the first thing.
you showed me that, and I'm immediately like, get that Venom statue from behind you.
They're very close. They're
Yeah, like
very close.
the coloring is somewhat similar. It feels like
Yep.
you could definitely tell Sony
Yeah.
like You could
Yep.
definitely tell Sony had something to do with both of these ones. I definitely yeah, it's like they had Venom tendrils that they were going to use for the Venom statue and went, you know what, Magellan Man.
Yeah. So that's the statue, and then you obviously get the.
Oh, I know what this is. I know what this is going to be.
And then you get a letter from Hideo himself,
Oh,
or a letter from Hideo himself.
that could be
Yes.
worse. He's a
It
weird
could be
guy.
worse.
So
And then some character cards,
Mhm.
fragile.
Um, very interested at this guy from the trailer. They showed him a lot. He had like a guitar
Higgs.
weapon. Yeah.
Higgs, that's Troy
Yeah.
Baker's character.
And then there. So the small rant, because that's it. Besides the code to download, the small rant is sometimes you win in a collector's edition. Like I got the Metaphor Refantasio one. I thought that was good. It was also not over $200. Number one, the Spider-Man 2 one, in addition to the Venom statue, I think was like, man, I honestly I was rearranging some stuff in my apartment for a while over the weekend, and that Horizon Zero or Horizon Forbidden West statue that they sent is a monstrosity. For
Yep.
anybody who has that and decided to get that collector's edition, there are only a couple of places in your home you can place that.
No
Yeah, it's a
kidding.
monster.
It's a monster. So it made me think of just collector's editions. Now, I'm not telling people not to buy the game, most definitely. I'm saying that I spent over $200 on that collector's edition. I would say that the statue is 60 on Etsy.
There's no
Six,
steelbook.
there's no steelbook. Digital download only. No steelbook. The letter to Hideo, I'm going to say is $100 because I'm a fan, but it's not really. It's $100 to me because I'm a huge fan and have been for over 20 years. But think wisely and really look at the contents before you purchase it. I don't regret my decision because I knew I was just going to get it. But I could see some people who are getting this regret it. So think wisely because the game is only $70 normally. So that's all I got to say. That's my small rant.
All right. So speaking of games, then, did you play Death Stranding 2? Did you get the?
I got because of how UPS is set up in my area. Why did I say it that weirdly? I got it about an hour before this podcast, so
Okay.
I still have the 2-hour download
All right.
because
So
it's like 91 gigs.
yeah. So we at least got the review impressions of the collector's edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with everybody. I've just been playing old games.
Same.
I've
Sounded
been
a little country when you said that. I've just been
I've-
playing old games.
I, for whatever reason, have started back up The Last of Us Remastered Part 1. I guess
Okay.
looks incredible on the PS5 Pro. And I've been playing Stellar Blade because I've been getting to the DLC.
Sure. You just
And
wanted
then
an
I've been
excuse
playing
to
my
play it
Switch.
again.
Look, the music's good.
It's
but
still the best soundtrack. No, I'm just playing.
I did need to play the Nikkei DLC, so that's what
fair.
I'm here for.
I did try out Rematch. I did try that. And then since you all did your impressions last time, I can give you all my Switch impressions now. What is that? Couple weeks in,
Yeah.
I believe. But that's
Yeah,
it.
of course. I purchased Rado remastered, which is the Atlas game that recently got remastered on the Switch too. The Atlas fanboy in me, so I purchased that and played it about 10 hours. The Altars, which I have interesting impressions of, free on Game Pass, and then I did the Hell Is Us demo because I just had to know if I should be that excited.
I keep forgetting to download the Neo demo.
Oh, I have the Neo demo as well.
I keep forgetting about that. That just reminded me.
So as I'm the one that's just kind of played older games, I'll just kind of go into what I played. I just haven't had time to get into new games. I'll be honest. Stellar Blade Nikkei DLC is very strange, if I'm being honest. So you have to get to the Wasteland, which is the first open world area, to start getting part of this DLC. And the whole it's funny because it goes to missions that act like the mobile game. And if you've never played Nikkei, it's this weird game where you have like these operators and they're all women, I think. It's a gotcha game where you're shooting behind cover to defeat bosses. But now Eve just kind of rolls between three covers and shoots enemies. You then get rewards for it, which unlocks some of the coolest costumes that you can get for Eve, because they're all inspired by Nikkei characters. So just keep that in mind. Like the DLC, I imagine the reason it costs this much is one, because of the DLC, but also I haven't gotten to it yet, but there is an optional boss fight against the samurai lady. I don't know her name. I don't play that game.
Samurai lady.
Yeah, but you can tell that they put care into this DLC because like everyone looks fantastic. The character, the model designs, it's all like very, that there's no beating the allegations that like this is like I know I can't say it, guys. I can't say
A
it's
Gooner game?
I can't say it's a Gooner game.
It is.
They're never beating these allegations. Just because I have fun with the game, and it's honestly I have fun. It's fun combat. It's more than just gooning. But
Is it though?
I can't say that anymore. I can't keep saying gooning. It's weird. I'm 30
Sure.
years old.
It's hilarious.
I like the DLC.
I
like the DLC.
I like the DLC. If you take anything from this,
It's hilarious.
should I do the two demos
Go for it.
just to get those out the way? I'm gonna start with the Neo 3 demo or alpha gameplay, as it was put, because I hope they work on it. I wasn't as impressed with the as I thought I would be with the linear aspect of it. Now I didn't complete it, and it's still in the alpha phase, so my opinion could change real quick when they start getting past it. But the combat didn't feel as satisfying as normal Neo. It was also early in the game. Again, I'm really kind of shooting down my very aggressive point about me not being impressed with all of those things. But I need a little bit more to get excited. It did. I saw flashes. It still had kind of the same loot, which is a crap ton of loot. You kind of really update your gear very fast just by even playing the level that I was playing. But I need to see more from that when it gets closer to the release date, and maybe an actual like drop demo and not the alpha gameplay. Hell is Us. I know Craig's not gonna like, but we already established that.
Yes.
There is no compass in this game. Well, there is actually a compass. That's the only navigation tool you have. I think it's interesting, and I think I'm gonna like it. It allows you to play what seems like the general like tutorial mission area, and you're kind of this guy that's driving in a forest or who's in this forest. You don't really know much about yourself. And what I kind of like about the gameplay is all the lore has to be found by you, like really has to be found and deciphered by you. And when you're talking to an NPC, they'll kind of allude to where you need to go, but you have to kind of put on the thinking cap for a second and say, did they say north or south? Or did they say, like the first NPC I run in says, oh, they were this group you're looking for is over there. I marked the trees so that my kids wouldn't get lost. So you kind of go into the trees and you notice that, yeah, he kind of wraps some like ribbon around certain trees, and that's how you find your way to the first area and the first dungeon that I'd say you go into. But the enemies that you fight are weird. They're supposed to be kind of a manifestation of our emotions, kind of is what I got, but I'd have to replay it again. And they kind of move and act very, very weird. It's not terrifying. It's not like a scary game, but they kind of have the nurse from Silent Hill kind of jerky movements when you fight. But you have a sword, and you have some abilities that you learn, and you have this this kind of mech thing, like, or small drone thing to help you as well and stun them. So I think where this is going to shine is telling a story through the worlds that you explore, and I think that's where I'm along for the ride. Other things I could see picked up from other games, but I think that's where I think it's going to be a good old fashioned, like, remove me from my world, put me in this one, and I want to learn about it. Why is this a war torn land? What are these enemies that are attacking people? That type of thing. And there's a good survival. I want to get back to civilization feel about it as well. So interesting.
Switch impressions. There we go. I've played it once.
There you go.
Which kind of necessitates the need to buy Donkey Kong, I think, because I played Mario Kart for like a couple hours, played it with the family. It's fine. But again, I just think this is why you should have more than one game released with a console. And again, we're different because a lot of those games are like, yeah, we already played those, but not everybody is us who's played just about every game that's come out. So there's more options. But for me, there was nothing on that lineup except Mario Kart, and Mario Kart is fine. There's nothing special about it, right? Am I crazy? It's Mario Kart.
My opinion is 20s Craig loved Mario Kart because you're doing more of the getting out, playing with friends, having people over in apartment stuff. Domesticated late 30s Craig, like, my wife and I are going to play it a little bit, try to, like, go online and play with a friend. So, like, that's where my meh for Mario Kart comes into play.
I do think that, like, I'm going to try some of the GameCube games. I know I've said that before. I never had a GameCube growing up. So, like, I am excited to try some of those games. So it's going to be very funny that, like, the games that have the most time on my Switch are going to be retro games, but whatever. But yeah, it just made me more excited for Donkey Kong, just a reason to play it. Cause I do think, like, it feels great in your hands.
Yeah.
It does. Like, it feels phenomenal. No issue hooking up my Pro controller from my original Switch. It runs well. Overall, I think it's a much better build quality than the first Switch. Doesn't feel as cheap. The Joy-Cons feel nice. I just need something to do with it.
Yeah.
It just feels very like, what did I spend $500 on? I need something.
Do you think you'd like Bravely Default?
No.
Okay.
I doubt it.
I was gonna say I can let you borrow it. It's only a $40 game, so it's not even full price. So that's nice.
I don't remember. Is that, like, did that come out before?
Yes, it is a very old Nintendo DS game.
Okay.
Right. I played the
Square
second
Enix
one.
RPG, turn-based type stuff.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe I would be into it. I don't know. It's hard to say, but, like, I don't know. I just look at it and I'm like, it would be nice if there was actually something that I was excited.
Another first party.
Yes, there's something exciting to play. Because that was weird. Anyway, are we good?
Craig, did you just not flash in and out?
I did.
Yeah. I think we all did. I don't know what that was from, though.
Let's keep going and pretend it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see what happens when we go to end. And then also, I'll just go over rematch real quick. Since I'm such a huge Rocket League fan, rematch for me was like, oh yeah, this looks pretty cool. I will say the game itself is fun. It's very, like, you can jump in and play, but to actually master that game would take a ton of time. And playing with random people right now is not fun because nobody passes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody. So everybody's trying to do their own thing and, like, just score, and it's just not fun that way. So I think like if we all played it, it'd probably be a lot more fun. Or if you had 2 other people to play with or 3, then you would have more fun. But as it is right now, like I can jump into Rocket League and play a bunch of games by myself with randoms and be somewhat fine. This takes a lot more coordinated effort. So if you don't have anybody to play with, I would probably stay away.
I need to download it. I'll play with you, Craig.
Yeah, it's not bad though.
Yeah, I gotta download that one
It's
too.
on Game Pass. You can play it on there.
All right, I just have 2 more. All right, so I'm probably gonna say it wrong again, but Rido Remastered, which technically the full term is The Mystery of the Soulless Army, is the name of the remastered version. Switch 2. This was my get me to Donkey Kong game. Uh, it's Atlas, y'all. It's Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. It's the same algorithm that they have that works for people like me, but I can understand if it doesn't work for everybody. The difference with this one is that it is real time. Instead of you doing like some type of RPG, picking your attacks and stuff like that, you still summon demons, but you do fight in real time. The demons do assist you. They are AI controlled, or you could like transfer yourself to control one of them if you would like. But it still follows the similar Pokemon formula, which, using elemental attacks, looking for weaknesses, things like that. The thing that attracted me to this game is it is like a mystery game. Like you're trying to figure out what demon activity is going on in Japan, and you're like looking around and you're talking to witnesses. You're using demons to do things for you. Like if there is an area that you cannot traverse, you have specific demons that can fly. So you have the demon go out, check everything out, come back to you, report what they see, pick up items, things like that. It's I think it's a faithful remaster for somebody who hadn't played the original game. It looks like it's very faithful, and I'm having a lot of fun with it. I think they have it's like 12 chapters. I'm in chapter 4 or 5. After you're done with halfway through chapter 2, you really they start giving you more game dynamics and opening things up for you. And they have a classic Atlas villain who shows up in about the end of Act 2, Act 3, and laughs devilishly and mocks you as Atlas villains do until you finally defeat them. So if you like their games, I would say check it out. If you're part of that person that likes that formula, you played a bunch of Shin Megami Tensei's and you played a bunch of Personas, this is going to be right up your alley. A lot of those demons make their way into this game, and the original game only had 60, and they jumped it up to like 110 or 120 for this game. So they did a lot of stuff. It wasn't just like slap a little bit of paint on it and send it on its way. It looks like they really, really did it right. So the other one I played, this is also on Game Pass, is I was saying in reference to Rematch, The Altars.
Before you get to The Altars, breaking news about a story we just talked about.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
D-Brand has now come out and said that they are going to fix those, get replacement Joy-Con grips for the Kill Switch 2, and has now said that they are really sorry that they sent that first message about how you're holding it wrong.
No way.
At least they're learning.
Does the I'm sorry about the first message, does that sound like somebody who no longer works there? Like that was the
100%. Yep. That admin was fired.
Good Lord.
Yeah, so I just wanted to let everybody know that if you did get a Kill Switch 2, D-Brand is apparently going to make it right. So we will see. We'll see what happens after that. Sorry here. I will read.
No.
I will read one of the comments on here. As easy as it is to boil our original post down, you're holding it wrong. What we're sober to now is the point that you should be allowed to hold it however the explicative F word you want, without detachment occurring. We get it. Please continue dunking on us for the next 6 to 8 months for reincarnating Steve Jobs.
What?
I don't get the Steve Jobs joke, I'll be honest, but there.
Okay. I think he had a quote where it was of a similar thing. I'd have to look it up though. That's awesome because we rarely get breaking news while we're doing this podcast.
Reddit just. Yep.
Wow, it's red hot. Oh yeah, so Alters, perfect Game Pass game, guys. I think the both of you should try it.
Oh,
It's
I
a
did.
survival. Oh, you did? Okay, yeah. Okay, so then maybe
Maybe just
maybe you
me.
can throw some of your thoughts in here too. I don't know why, but I liked it for what I played. Um, for those of you that don't know the game, you're essentially in space. There's this rare material called rupidium that the Earth is trying to seek out. You are out with a team. You crash land on this planet. Everybody from your team dies. You find the space station that you were supposed to rendezvous at, which is a pretty big space station, and you have to survive. How you survive is you create alternate versions of yourself. This is the part I think is cool and unique. You create alternate versions of yourself from different points in your life. So you have to live with 4 to 7, 4 to 8, 4 to 9 versions of yourself who are at different parts. You have a 20-year-old you have a 30-year-old you. They all had different experiences. You were married at one point, like you were young at one point and rebellious. And each of those points represents a skill that you had. So the scientist is at one part, there's a botanist at another part, and you have to decide not only which parts you're going to recreate of yourself, but how you're going to manage the emotion of yourself while you're going through this turbulent time. So the day represents you going out into the world collecting materials. You have to deal with these things. Oh my god, I forget what they're called. They're like enemies, but they're kind of like blips that attack you. At least the part that I saw.
Yeah, it's weird.
Um,
They're almost like big, like invisible jellyfish. I don't know. It's
right,
almost like an invisible wall attacking you. It's so strange.
right. So you have to dodge those, and you don't see them for a good portion of the first part or the first big map that you're on. But you have to collect materials, create food, um, and it's base managing after that, and also relationship managing. Unfortunately, I was playing it yesterday, and I got to a part where the entire I had 4 of them that I created. They rebelled because I could not upkeep the place enough, and also advance the story. Because while this is all going on, the sun, or the sun in relation to this planet, is gradually getting closer to you and could annihilate you. So you have a time limit and people to make sure like they're good. You can create a gym, you watch movies, you play beer pong with them to like make their moods better in addition to having their vitals all good. It's a good premise. I don't know if I want to reload my save 5 days earlier in game time to do the right things to continue the story, but it got me to Death Stranding too. And I
Hmm.
see why it does have an 85. I think it's an 85 on Metacritic.
Correct.
It's
84, 85 at time of
84.
recording.
It's a good premise. I like what they did. This game is for somebody. If you have Game Pass, definitely try it out despite maybe the other things I said that weren't so good about it. So, interesting.
Alrighty then. We get into what we watched this week then.
Sure.
All right. I'll be honest, I don't watch much lately. Been way too busy. But I did finish Mobile Suit Gundam G-Clux, which I had mentioned before on this podcast. The season finale literally happened today. Um, and we'll talk about it in Barry's Anime Corner.
Are you bringing back Barry's Anime Corner? It's
For
been
this
a
one,
minute.
yes.
Okay. I knocked out 3 in the past 2 weeks or so, so I'll give you like the rundown. But Final Destination Bloodlines, Clown in a Cornfield, and Anime Corner, K-pop Demon Hunters.
I've been meaning to watch that
Yep.
We got 2 anime corners.
Mm-hmm.
on the separate sides of the room.
Shoot. I should have wore a tux.
Should have.
Um uh so Craig, I can talk about Final Destination
Sweet.
Bloodlines with you because I
Cool.
watched that. And I also watched Sinners, and I have some thoughts.
Sweet. Okay.
Those are my 2.
All right. Um,
Do
all
it,
right,
Barry.
I'll start because mine's a TV show. Um, so as a reminder, this anime is only available right now through Amazon Prime Video, which is strange to be honest. It is a Gundam made by the people of Neon Genesis Evangelion, which, if you know, is a very weird, odd anime. I really wish I talked about this last week because the series finale doesn't do it justice. Um, what we kind of learn is that this universe in this Mobile Suit Gundam anime is a parallel universe to the original Gundam that premiered later. Did you guys ever watch the original Gundam or anything like that when you were kids?
Very briefly.
Yeah, same thing as well with
So
me.
it's strange because they bring back old animation techniques that make the characters look old and they mix it with new. It's very strange and cool, which I know I mentioned the last time I talked about this. But in the second to last, and I don't care about spoilers at this point. If you're not watching it already, you weren't going to watch it anyway. The second to last episode drops the hammer where they bring back the original Gundam.
Oh wow.
He appears out of this tube like some omnipotent godlike presence. And it was one of the coolest moments I can remember in anime for me as of late, cuz never in my life did I think I'd see original Gundam back in anime. It was
Right.
I think the only reason I'm talking about this is because I love Gundam, and this is such an important thing to me that I can't believe that they did or allowed even. The original Gundam I think aired in 86 or something
Oh my
like
God!
that.
It's
Wow.
been around
is-
for a minute.
It
Yep.
is
Right.
old. And then the season finale came. It's got good old classic Gundam fighting, and then some really weird even Neon Genesis Evangelion BS. So it's kind of confusing. I don't think the ending lived up to what the penultimate episode did, but seeing that Gundam come back in the most spectacular way was just awesome. It was really cool. I know the Gundam community really loved it too, for a little bit there, but
Yeah,
it
that's dope.
is the anime I can say is fun to watch. It's not the strongest of any Gundam anime. I'd tell you to watch Witch from Mercury instead if you're trying to look into Gundam. But regardless, what fun and what an odd anime.
Mm.
Odd in
I
a
don't-
good way though, right?
Yeah, odd in nostalgia. Odd in the fact that nostalgia hit me in all the right places.
Okay.
I don't know why, but I loved your what fun. That's
What-
just
what
a cool
fun.
thing to. What fun.
Fair. Give me the Sinners.
Oh,
Movie of the year, baby.
it is.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Josh Allen can't keep getting away with this.
Can't.
This movie. This movie.
Yep.
Number one, if you have to sell this to somebody who does not like horror, you can tell them that this movie is a story first. I looked at my wife halfway through it and I was like, are we just celebrating Black people for the first hour and 20 minutes? Because it was a wonderful representation of heritage, multiple heritages, actually. And cinematically well done. A great day in the life story. The entire movie takes place over a 24-hour period. They hit you in the beginning with here's what the aftermath is, and now let's rewind the time frame. I don't know, Craig. Should I even say what it's about? I mean, I think the trailer
No.
kind of says what it's about, right?
Yeah. The less you know, the better, too.
The less you know, the
Honestly.
better. The
Yep.
less you know, the better. Michael B. Jordan's in it. That's not a spoiler alert there, but he does a fantastic job. I think every actor and actress in this movie played their role exceptionally well. The entire time you care about multiple characters' safety. I think Michael B. Jordan ascended his acting or showed the world what he can fully do in a specific sense, because I think no matter how you see Creed, if you've watched any of the Creeds, I think that you can look at it the same way as it's a boxer movie. It's about a boxer. He's trying to, it's not as deep of a character as you could explain in other movies. And when you talk about Black Panther, he was the villain in it. He was amazing in it, I think. But you don't have the entire screen with him. You went on a journey with Michael B. Jordan in this. And he plays this is also not a spoiler because he plays two brothers. And there are certain scenes where he's in there together, and they do a good job of having him do that same scene twice, but clearly he had to do it as the other brother. And you're worried about twins in movies because how do I tell them apart? Yada, yada, yada. They did distinguish with colors that both brothers were wearing, Smoke and Stack, but he played it differently. Smoke was different from Stack, and I knew who was on screen by their mannerisms, by how they acted in certain situations, by how they were talking and interacting with the characters. It wasn't just on paper. Oh, we're just going to put him for two twins. This is great. Yeah, isn't this funny? We had him in two twins. We just didn't cast somebody else and make them brothers. We made like this is. It felt everything felt deliberate. It's it's a celebration of cinema. It's a celebration of heritage. It's a celebration of that time period. It's a period piece horror day in the life movie that hit from beginning to end. There's no way it's not in my top 3. It's
Yeah.
There's no way it's not in my top 3. No way. And I think I almost want to boldly say it's going to be in my top 1, but I think everybody should watch it. There are not too many jump scares. It's very approachable.
Yeah.
For
There's
me.
a lot of bigger movies left to come out this year, so like I was very confident. I've watched it twice now. The first time I watched it, I was like, "Oh, that's the best movie this year." Right? I'm just like, it's not even close at the time, right? And that's the thing. Like for me, I think it's still there. I think it's still number 1, but obviously there's other movies that come out, but that first, like when you tell somebody like, "Hey, it is technically a horror movie, but it doesn't get to the horror elements until 3/4 of the way through the movie." But trust me, it's worth it. And like that first, hour or so is also enjoyable, is a feat. You know what I mean? Like they keep you invested the whole time. It's crazy.
It is.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
There's a lot of horror movies where you spend time waiting for the character to get to the destination where the horror is. Oh, we're going to the asylum,
Yep.
and then it takes 30 minutes to get there or 40 minutes to get there for character building. This one transcended movies that have to do that. Like it's
Yep.
the best one doing that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Sinners, go see it.
Final Destination, we can both do that one as well.
Uh,
It's fine.
it's fine.
That's probably the best way to put it, right?
It did its job. It's fine.
It's rated so highly on Rotten Tomatoes, and like I'm not sure why. I think it's a good movie. I just don't know that it needs to be ranked as high as it is. It's perfectly fine. I love Final Destination. It's always creative how they kill people, which I love. But I didn't think it was anything special. Did you? Like it's
Not really. People
Yeah.
who watch the movies should see it for Tony Todd.
Yes.
That is the last movie that he did. Do it just to kind of close that chapter of Tony Todd's not take, but what am I thinking of? Legacy and horror in general, and specifically Final Destination.
Yep.
You know,
They tied his story together. Like they summed it up perfectly for me.
that was great. That was where I think the movie had a highlight. I
Yeah.
liked the location of the part where the premonition part. Some of the CGI kind of knocked my eye, like it does when you're supposed to be seeing like 30
was a
frames
bit
per
much.
second and you don't. It was a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
But I did like the idea. I thought,
Yeah.
and there was a couple of nods to older Final Destinations in there
Yep.
towards the end.
I mean,
but
I will always
it's
watch
fine.
these movies. I will always
Yeah.
watch them. They're
Yeah, that's
perfectly
where I'm at.
entertaining. I had a good time. I just don't think it's anything special.
Yeah, that's where I was at. I was whelmed. I wasn't
Yeah, it's
underwhelmed. I
whelmed.
wasn't overwhelmed. I was just whelmed.
Yes. Clown in a Cornfield. I'll preface this by saying I did not know this was a book series beforehand. I do now know it's a book series. It's on Shudder if you want to watch it. This movie is damn good. Go figure. It's like a throwback, like 90s horror style where it has that like just right amount of comedy mixed in that you're like, oh yeah, this is a movie about a clown in a cornfield. Who cares? But it's not. It's different. And I kind of want to read the book. Everybody says the movie is better than the book that I've talked to. But there's still interest in me
That's
being
rare.
like, maybe I should check out the book. And there's more books in the series, which means they'll probably do more movies, and I hope so. Um, Other than like a basic premise, because I do not want to give anything away. There's a town that has a factory, just like any other horror movie, that burned down. That has to do with it had a clown as a mascot. That's pretty much it. That's all you need to know. And then there's a clown killing people. That's it. But yeah, definitely watch that movie. If you have Shudder, you can go watch it right now. If you don't, you can always get like a week free. Just do that and watch it. But support it because I do want them to make more. Um, Going into the
Yeah.
anime corner. Go ahead.
Wait. Before you leave,
Yeah.
and go to the anime corner,
Uh-huh.
Leanne just got that book today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's been dying to watch the movie.
Okay.
But she's been in like a book like
Yeah.
bonanza for
So
the
let me
last
know how
like
the
8 or
book
9 months.
is.
Yeah, I most definitely will.
Barry, anime corner. K-pop Demon Hunters. Let me say this to you, Barry. We have a nominee for movie of the year, baby. We have a
It looks
nominee.
good. It looks really good.
My God, is this movie phenomenal? Same animation studio as Spider-Man,
Sony.
I believe.
Yep.
Yeah, Sony
Sony.
Animation. The soundtrack is banging. The animation's incredible. The story is phenomenal. Um, it was on my like saved list on Netflix, and I just couldn't bring myself to watch it the past like week or so. And then I was like, let me just sit down and watch it. Yeah, it's real good. Start to finish, it's like an hour 40. I was fully invested. So in animation, I feel like every year or so for us is always like it hits me as like, oh man, this movie is like one of the best movies of the year. They do it over and over again. I shouldn't really doubt them anymore. But yeah, I mean, super basic premise. They're K-pop stars who fight demons. And then there is a boy band group that is made up of demons that shows up to try to take their popularity because the demons need the souls of the humans. That's about it. That's all you need to know. There's other stuff in there that they don't show you in the trailer that moves the story along, which I think is good. They don't put in the trailer. It's kind of a surprise. But absolutely incredible movie. Sinners is still, I think, my number one for now, but this is probably my number two.
Ooh, cool.
Watch it for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, and I'm quite
It's
interested.
phenomenal. Yep.
All right. Is there anything else we need to go over, guys?
I don't think so.
Alrighty. Perfect. Thank you, everybody, for watching. If you are listening, please make sure to leave a review, a thumbs up, star rating on your podcast listening platform of choice. If you are watching on YouTube, please make sure to like and subscribe, comment below on what you think about the news, the movies, or any of the games we talk about. We'd love to have a conversation down in the comments if you feel so inclined. Thank you for all the support you always give us, and we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, guys.
See you.